Hello everyone. I ask you, what would you do in a situation like mine? I'll give you the context because it's like the planet aligned for this. My brother and I have not gotten along at all, well, in our lives. We were raised in different homes, so we haven't had that brother-ish quality time. He's much older than me by 80 years precisely, and that also increased and has a conflict having such opposed views on the same subjects. Well, thing is that he married a cute girl a few years ago, Mary, a very nice gal, one of those who won't break a plate, and you know that those are the worst. Well, let me clarify, it's not that my brother and I fight and stuff like that, it's just that our lifestyles clash. I'm more spirited and a party animal. Well, he's had a bit of a rougher life. Between love disappointments, business failures, and still having to pay off student loans, he's developed some pretty severe depressive symptoms. One of my biggest regrets is that I was not with him at his most vulnerable moment, which was 10 years ago now? So a lot of that stuff is too far gone for me to even worry about. I'm writing all this because I've learned something a bit hard to swallow. I think Mary is being unfaithful to my brother. This is fatal because of his background. See, my brother is someone who has taken some big knocks in his life and had to fend for himself from a very young age, at least until he met Mary. She was like a lifeboat for him, where he could rest and relax from everything that was happening to him. He has attachment and abandonment issues from growing up outside of our family and has to start working at 16 just to get by on his own. Relationship-wise, things are just not going very well. Things are absolutely no better since many of his exes have either been unfaithful to him or, well, he dated a girl a while back and then we found out she was pregnant by my brother. The thing is that the girl, without consulting him or anything, decided to get rid of the baby. Generating in my brother a pretty strong form of depression. Our parents offered their house for him to live with us for a while, but he refused it at first. Then he gave in, and 2 weeks later our father passes away. Let's just say he's been on a very bad streak with his relationship, and he's even tried dating a woman with a promising future, showing that she was willing to marry him, but at the last second before the wedding, she just vanishes. We don't know what's happened to her. She just escaped from the house and increased my brother's insecurities. With Mary, the whole family thought he might have a hope of finding true happiness. No lie, seriously, our whole family looked at that relationship with a bright, hopeful eye. To top it all off, Mary's delightful life has not only been with my brother, the whole family loves her. She's helped some of my cousins and aunts with their projects, so revealing something to my brother would make a great impact within the family. She's one of us, and our parents treat her like a daughter, making this so much worse. After this, I paid close attention to Mary's behavior, but I admit that nothing has changed. I don't know if she's a good actress or something, but things have not gone bad with her. I reached the point where I even talked about infidelities during a conversation, and she didn't even blink an eye. She was just like, yeah, you're right. That's bad. Like, girl, do you know I know something you don't know about you? My brother's always shown himself a detractor of infidelity. Gosh, I even told you that he's been the cheated one in the past. But this was even before his relationship, so this could be difficult to confront. I honestly don't know how he can react, but it can't be good. But now the person who has helped him so much is doing him terrible harm. Almost unimaginable because I don't understand how someone with such power over another person can do that kind of thing to him. First, let me go ahead and clear what my sister-in-law's been up to for me to be so mad at her. I found this because the other day, while going out with some colleagues from work, I thought I saw her leaving a club in the city. A club of dubious reputation. And she was accompanied by some gentleman. I admit I did not get a good look at her, but I'm 90% sure it was indeed her. I haven't told anyone else because I'd like to be sure of this first. Mary works part-time at a call center, leaving every evening until she gets home at midnight. From what I understand, it's a relatively good job. So I'm surprised to see her on the city street late at night. I wrote to my brother the next day asking about her, and he tells me that everything was fine. That she had arrived, quote, tired from so much work, and Just like that, the matter was settled. It smells like a cat in the bag, and I wanted to tell you guys about it so I would not eat my fingers for keeping it such a secret. I may look into the matter further, but given everything I've told you, I came to a diatribe. I know I could ruin his life if I comment on all this. Mind you, my brother is not someone who has shown tendencies to want to hurt oneself. But it's well known that after so many tragic situations at once, anything can happen. And my brother's not one to sit back and reflect on positive things that he's going on in his life. Oh no, I've lost count of how many family gatherings he's ended up crying at from one reason or the other. And if I were to tell him this, it would just end up destroying him, Because he even has a family plan in mind, and I feel that if someone else told him, it would be even worse. But having him find out on his own, it could be catastrophic, cruel, plus it might not even happen. I'm talking about mere conjecture. But if it ends up being the way I think it will, I'm sorry, but I have to do something about it. What do you guys think? Should I tell him right away? Should I corroborate my information, because I can already see the scene of me being hated by the whole family for telling my brother that his wife is being unfaithful. My aunt says something like, "Take that secret to your grave." I don't know if someone's willing to help me with this issue, so I feel like I'm alone with this burden that I'm holding. Let me ask you guys, what exactly would you have done? Update number 1. Hello everybody, it's me, and yes, I am back with a update. So, maybe I prayed to the wrong person because I ended up confirming my fears. Indeed, Mary does cheat on my brother or something like that, but you know what? I think the truth is actually much, much worse than I imagined. It's not that she's cheating on him per se, but she is doing it professionally. You see, I'll explain the whole thing, but don't get me caught up in the first few lines because of what I'm about to tell you. Well, it turns out that the day before yesterday, just a week after the first time I wrote here, one of my friends had a birthday, and we decided to go to a strip club. I know what you're going to say, but bear with me. Well, at the place, we did our thing. We had a table. We ordered some beers, and one or another lady was with us, but it wasn't until the live pole dance, the performance, that I was able to detail things very well. It was Mary. Mary was pole dancing to I don't know how many people in the place, with the men putting money between her underwear that left nothing to the imagination. As a fun fact, she was the only one wearing a mask. I guess so that some acquaintances of my brother would not recognize her identity. Yeah, bullcrap. Yes, there was another girl with a mask, and I felt very bad because she looked even younger, thinking that she was in the same position. I mean, we were in one of the upstairs seats, so I wanted to get a better look to corroborate that it was indeed Mary. And I got teased by my classmates thinking I was interested in someone particular. But as I got closer, I could confirm a mole right there on her chin, and I almost felt like absolutely throwing up. It made me feel sick. I don't even want to imagine how my brother would feel about it if he found out. I had to leave and go to the bathroom. I swear I was tempted to dial my brother, but I stopped myself. I was already half drunk, which is why I'm writing today and not of yesterday, and I knew that things could go very wrong when I was in that state. So the best thing I did was wait, and of course later I will have to justify the fact that I went to a strip club, but anything is justifiable as long as I can get this across. If I had not, I would not have gotten the truth, but now I'm back to the same place I was in the previous note, where I don't know whether to tell my brother, and that would ultimately bring him down, and the last thing I want to do is put another stripe on that tiger. But looking at it from a certain point of view, and I want to know your opinion on this one, is she really, I don't know, if she's that kind that just shows her body or something else? Maybe she's doing it for a specific reason, like to help the house generate more income. Although, yeah, it would be weird considering that they were recently in the middle of a financial crisis. I felt, little by little, the puzzle pieces started to come together. Because maybe I'm overthinking the whole thing, and the problem is that I stopped seeing Mary at a certain point in the evening, and there's also the matter that the other time I saw her accompanied by some guys when she was supposed to be in the call center. Now, I called up my brother, and from what I understood, everything was fine at the house. Luckily, Mary did not see me when I was at the club, and it was fortunate, although the loud music, the swell of people, and the confetti did not even allow me to see my friends. Should I confront her, ask her directly, and find out everything? I feel it's a reasonable thing to do, but not always the simplest solution is the right one. I would like to tell someone, but I feel that at the slightest person I can get myself in a lot of trouble. Just yesterday, my brother stopped by to see me after the binge. I went on, and he brought me some soup. You don't know what pain it is to see him in that position. No, he doesn't know anything's going on, because I don't think someone like him would tolerate that kind of work from his wife. Apart from the fact that she's always seen herself as self-righteous, and now I can see why. Simply so as not to arouse suspicion. The best people can sometimes come with a very dark side. Update number 2. I knew something was up with Mary for a while, and after a week of stewing in my last update, I finally confronted her. After so many comments saying that I should do it, I decided to step up and buckle up. That's right. I told her I knew about her little secret business. She tried to deny it at first, but I would not back down. I visited her with a great surprise. Going straight forward, she turned white as a glass of milk, confirming everything I suspected, and turns out she's been running this whole thing other than, on the other side for years, bringing in a lot of cash. She opened up for me, but still, I was beyond furious. Not just about the lies, but about the financial stuff too. We were struggling while she was apparently living it up with this hidden money source. But the worst part was that the betrayal of my brother. This woman he loved and trusted was living a double life that could destroy him. Her excuses were lame. She claimed she did not like it at first, but the money changed things. She got hooked up on that fancy lifestyle, and I pressed her about the impact on my brother and his feelings and his health and their future together, and his answers were vague and uncaring. The whole situation made me sick, and when my brother walked in, I was in their living room. Everything felt fake. Seeing them kiss was like punching in the gut. This whole thing is messing with me. I wrote this with shaky hands, dreading the decision I now have to make. Do I tell my brother and risk shattering his world? What if he finds out on his own and Mary blames me? Or tell him that I already knew it and did not do something about it? I felt like a loser either way, and running away sounds tempting, but I can't escape this forever. And Mary's nerve to even suggest I get involved in her lies made me even more determined to do something. People online say I should tell him, even if it hurts, and every day I wait, the feeling grows stronger. It feels like facing a test I did not study for, or getting a shot. It'll be bad, but you just gotta do it. Maybe talking to another family member first would be a great idea. Someone to have my back before I drop this bomb on my brother. Well, seeing him share Mary's stuff on social media, it's absolutely unbearable. I had to block them just to get some peace. It's pointless to talk to Mary again. She would not change anything. I'm giving myself a month to observe, see how things develop, and then decide what to do. But of course, I will read your comments on the topic to see if I can clear my mind. This secret is suffocating, and I owe it to myself, and especially to my brother, to deal with it. The truth will come out, and we'll have to face the consequences no matter how bad they are. Well, guys, I'll keep you updated, but I prefer this story just to be over already. Update number 3. Regret gnaws at me. Did I act impulsively? It all started with a toast during my uncle's birthday party, where most of the family was gathered at the place. A whole week since the previous update, right? Well, my brother, radiating happiness, raised up his glass in gratitude for his beautiful wife. And then Mary locked eyes with me, a knowing wink that felt like a cruel mockery. And then I exploded. "There's something you need to know," I blurted out. Mary's smile vanished, and I said, "Brother, I can't stand to see you this happy under false pretense. I found out about Mary long ago, and you deserve to know the truth." Mary's first defense was to take everyone's attention with cheap tricks since she said he's drunk. I pressed on, revealing her secret life as a dancer and an escort. Everything spiraled out of control. Mary backed into a corner and accused me of being a cruel liar. My blood ran cold, and I vehemently denied her accusation. But the family, primed to believe Mary's sob story, erupted in murmurs and accusations even. Wow. My brother's face was etched with confusion, and he became a silent observer of whatever was happening right there in front of him. Mom's intervened, but it was all misguided. Instead of focusing on Mary's betrayal, she questioned my presence at a strip club. The kangaroo court was in full swing, fueled by misplaced anger and a refusal to see the truth. Well, my cousins, blinded by Mary's act, turned to me with physical threats. Through the chaos, one cousin's voice cut through the noise, calling for a reason, but the damage was absolutely done. The family ostracized me, painting me as the villain, and their blame felt misplaced. Wasn't Mary the one living a lie? Wasn't I just trying to protect my brother? Days have passed and everything has been quiet. My brother seeks solace in therapy, unwilling to face anyone, particularly me. I understand his need for time, but the family's hostility stings. They claim I ruined everyone's happiness, conveniently forgetting Mary's deceit. I've talked with some of my cousins. Some of them look like they were forced to talk to me, but those with a more objective mind gave me the reason. They've been trying to secretly change the grown-ups' minds, knowing that I was in the right. So far, Mary's been posting some images and pictures with BS phases like, "You'll always be the bad guy in someone else's story. Please tell me your opinion since I want to confirm what I was doing obviously made me a good brother." Update number 4. This is it, the final update of the story. Hey guys, well, I'm back. Good, bad, I don't know how to feel. Neutral, I guess, though with a great deal of satisfaction is knowing that fate helped me avenge my brother. Thanks to your comments, I dared to confront the issue and do something about it. You see, it's been a few months now since all the family turmoil happened. Like 2 or 3. And things were indeed tense for some time, but I at least was able to have a golden opportunity to talk to my brother face to face by going to our psychologist cousin's house after a request from him. She told me that my brother had not had a good time. She scolded me for making the scene and told me that while she supported me in telling him and not leaving it a secret, I picked the worst time of all, which I admit that's probably true. She said that I might as well have told her in the first place, and, well, so I could touch the subject with my brother a little more tactfully. Now he seemed to be the bunch of nothing more than depression. Or at least when we talked, I'll tell you why. When we met, I saw a completely different man. Tired, hunched over, with big old bags under his eyes, unwilling to take a step at the right direction. It was perhaps the worst version of him. When we sat down to talk with my cousin, he started asking me all sorts of questions. How long have you known? Why didn't you tell me sooner? How did you think I was going to react? I felt like I was back in an exam I didn't study for. I answered him as best as I could, but in the end he just nodded his head. My cousin later confirmed to me that at one point my brother became, well, thinking of harm to himself, and after that, for this very reason, he was unable to personally attend the pending appointments to finalize the divorce. Everything became quite confusing during that period, as my brother did not want to leave the house. Thanks to the support of my cousin, our mother, and the rest of the family, he was able to pull himself together a bit. Well, they both talked about certain methods of handling grief, and one of them was confrontation, and I'm surprised he did it with me and not Mary, although I doubt very much that he wants to see her right now. We had our chance to talk to each other, to be honest, and just to be able to solve the problems from the past, and that made me very, very happy. That was a while ago, but now the change is a little more apparent. To make a long story short, my brother has changed. I don't know what happened to him in the psychological aid with our cousin, but the last time I saw him, he was a new man. Short hair, a straight posture, and everything, I don't know, even something I had never seen before, contact lenses. He looked great. And although he said he did not want to date anyone for the time being, at least he had a different expression. Not of more joy, but I'd say less sadness. That had to count for something, didn't it? He promised himself to take charge of his life and not let others walk all over him anymore. Of course, that's easier said than done, and will demand more mental agility. I don't know if he forgave me or if he will in the future, but at least I'll be able to be somewhat calmer after the storm has passed. Oh yeah, and speaking of storms, I'll tell you what ended up happening with Mary. My friend, the one that Mary helped her get a job many years ago, she told me that Mary's gossip had spread and that she had been fired because she did not meet the company standards, values, guidelines. In other words, she would no longer be able to keep her job in the call center. So she would only have the other option, and I also learned, this time from a friend who frequents the bar, that in the place she was being exploited and overworked, and there were nights where she hardly slept between breaks. If she liked the good life and did everything for pleasure, well, I hope that pleasure would take her to the moon. My brother, in a last attempt to understand that maybe he's no longer upset with me, confessed to me that he was somewhat relieved when I said everything. Mostly because the couple wanted to have their first baby in just 2 months, so I rather saved him from making a fatal mistake. He told me that he had found out later with the relationship was more solid, he wouldn't have thought twice and would have jumped off a bridge at the chance. I guess that's just a fatigue of speech, and I don't want to believe the worst, but well, I'll continue to stand by my brother, not letting that woman get close to him again. For that, I have help from my family and anyone who will take that trouble to read my texts. I do appreciate it. I didn't want this to be the story of revenge, but hey, sometimes reality overcomes fiction.